There are obviously many takes from the 2024 election, but this one really stood out to me. Watch it here with me.
All right. Do the Democrats need a social media platform, this is for you, John, of their own to combat the Republican influence on Twitter? Well, I don't know, but Twitter, it's funny. It used to be completely left. Then Elon said, I'm going to take it over, so it's going to be 50-50 right down the middle. He didn't do that. It just switched completely. So I don't know. It's terrible that I think that we have our own media silos. We need places where, like this show, but there's not enough of them, where everybody comes and everybody hears everybody else from all points of view.
I'd like to steal a line from Dave Chappelle, who said at some point how he doesn't know very much about what goes on Twitter because he doesn't go on Twitter because Twitter's not a real place. That's sort of how I feel about Twitter. And Twitter, not only is Twitter not a real place, but it's become a toxic cesspool filled with nothing, not about right, it's not about conservative, it's just filled with misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories. So I would rather not have the left replicate that if that's what's required.
Going in the video there, he goes to further on talk about the importance of podcasting and how that's kind of become a really popular way to get the message out, which I would agree with. But the take that they had originally that is just funny to me is their perspective is that X, or formerly known as Twitter, is a platform for disinformation or misinformation. This show is somehow the combining of both sides. Is it really a true statement to say that this show is 50-50? I don't know. But what's so funny to me about people on the left is they utilize terminology such as misinformation or disinformation, or they'll even say something like this is a right-wing platform. No, this is a free speech platform. The platform I'm speaking on right now, that you're watching me on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, but predominantly I post on YouTube, this is not as free speech as it once was. Why? Well, because there's tech companies that may stop things from being pushed out because it doesn't go to what is the rule. So what Elon did was he was tired of seeing Twitter, Facebook, Instagram silence voices back in 2020 and decided to allow a free platform to freely voice your opinion. And people have some crazy ideas that might be disinformation. But if anything, what is amazing about free speech is you can share your perspective. You and I can. And you could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong. But that's the great thing about it, is that the government cannot overreach and say you can't say that, but rather we as a society can respond. Do we agree or not agree with this? I mean, look at this past election and everything that happened. When there is a potential attempt at taking the life of Trump, people literally said this was staged. People literally said this is all a hoax. So that's a perspective that you can have. Go for it. But it's obviously not true, and that's what people should be allowed to do. They should be allowed to think for themselves, not let government or tech companies push what they should be thinking. The left has their sites already. They've done manipulation of terminology being searched on search results. There's literally an issue on Google where you tried to look up Kamala Harris voting location, it showed it to you. You look up Donald Trump, and you couldn't. So if you want to say that X is somehow a right-wing platform, I mean, go for it. But it's not. Elon Musk has made it very clear he's a free speech platform. The people, us, that are on the platform, that speak our minds, speak our ideas, are allowed to share their opinions freely. And hopefully they don't have bad recourse for it, but they might. That's just the reality of having an opinion, because some opinion, as a society, we shouldn't be encouraging certain opinions. That's totally fine. But to go out and label everything disinformation, misinformation is just the consistent reason as to why people didn't vote for this anymore. And hopefully there's a continuous tide. I mean, like I said in my last few videos, keep saying this, Democrats. If you won't want to win elections, keep saying disinformation, misinformation. Really, what that more says to me is you just don't agree with the information presented, and that's why it's disinformation. Just recognize you don't agree, and that's fine. If you don't agree, that's the amazing thing about Americans, is we can have disagreement and you can still get things done, because it's not all about bringing people to the same opinion, so to speak. It's about how do we work with the differences that we have so that we can achieve getting things done for the people of America, because that's why politicians are doing what they're doing. They are working for us, not the other way around. They're trying to help better the lives of Americans, their fellow blood. That is what their role is. But this is such a funny moment in TV history again, where it's like, how can you be so misguided in their thinking that, oh, it's just the misinformation platform or disinformation? No, X is literally becoming one of the biggest platforms. It is the number one news platform in the US in the App Store for a reason. It's because it's allowing people to have opinions again. And it may be absolutely so far-fetched, but good. That allows you to freely think. That's the amazing thing about life. You are free to think what you want to think. You can have your beliefs. You can have your ideas, and no one's going to necessarily infringe upon them. That's cool. That's the amazing thing about freedom of expression and free speech. Why is that such a hard concept for people? I don't know. But I think it's because some people want to control you and make you decide what you want to do. And I mean, that's on them. I mean, I have my beliefs that adhere to the faith of Jesus, and I strongly believe these things, and I'm going to teach these things and share these things. But if you decide differently, that's on you. I'm not going to be answering for you. I'm not going to be the one that's responsible for your life. I'm only responsible for mine. And I'm going to freely share what I want to share, and people may disagree. That's okay. Allow the ability for people to disagree and not have the same opinion as you. And instead of being so upset at them, stop calling it labeling it disinformation. Maybe they just don't agree the same way you do. And that is okay in America, because we're allowed to freely think and believe the way that we want.